flight of the orbiter Discovery, and the shuttle has cleared the tower.
Let's go out and have fun.
Roger that, Sally.
Hello.
Hi. You always surprise me.
Yes, because I do surprising things. Welcome, everybody. How are you, Mr. Tim Molly?
I am fabulous. Nobody wants to really hear about my day, but I can't tell you how infuriating my day job was today.
Why? What happened?
Just dealing with a lot of people that didn't want to. And I'm not talking people that work for us. I'm talking outside contractors that didn't want to do their jobs, that made our jobs a lot more difficult. But anyway, so yeah, that's nobody wants to hear about that. They want to hear about shadow people. April, how are you doing?
Well, I am good. I'm really good. You know me, I'm also manning the DJ booth. Wiki. Anyway, that's my exactly. It's
there we go.
Real.
That's why I don't go out.
That's why what?
That's why I don't go out, because I have no rhythm and I have no game.
But that is the best. That's when you want to watch people dance.
Not at 46. It's embarrassing. Who brought their dad to the bar?
Oh, well, you're close to my age, so please don't say you're like a dad. All right, because then we're really much older than we think we are. So tonight we're talking about something paranormal, not just I'm very hot. Sorry. Not just, we talk about lots of topics on this show to escape reality, when in essence, actually, it's our moment to talk about reality. But tonight's topic is paranormal. And I just wanted to say something. Paranormal simply means that which is not known. So when people go into, that's not paranormal, we are still paranormal. So shadow people fall into the category of paranormal.
They indeed do. Back in a previous life, when I did my own radio show, I had a medium contact me and say, hey, if you ever want to do a show not about paranormal, I'm willing to come on the show. And I had to break it to them that being a medium also puts them under the umbrella of the paranormal.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's very true.
It was a heartbreaking moment for them.
So, we should dive right in.
We should.
We've got a lot of people showing up. Oh, I love when Tina does this. Thank you, girl. I sent out the message for this week, which ironically is opposite of shadow people, but it could go hand in hand. It's about being happy with where you're at. And so many people that experience shadow people or have active, are in an active situation, it's very hard to be happy when you are dealing with energy that is in your face and still so unknown.
Exactly. And we're going to touch a lot on those experiences and the things that people do go through. And then we'll lighten it up a little bit and we'll talk about folks that thought they had shadow people and it was really just the neighbors driving down the road.
Well, yeah, I love that because most people think investigating or doing paranormal research is about finding the actual evidence, when in fact you have to debunk it first.
That's actually more fun than anything else for me. It's just brainstorming and coming up with, what else is fun for me? Off topic, go figure. Those escape rooms. I like going into those and having to use my brain to get away.
What if you did an escape room with shadow people?
I think that would be terrifying.
It would be. I'd pay for it, though.
You're in a room and you've paid, and there's like 12 shadow people in there, and they're real shadow people. I don't think I want to be a part of that.
No, shadow people are real shadow entities are quite flippin' horrifying. Really quick, I just want to say a hello to all the people jumping on, guys. We are growing. We've got people watching live all over the face on YouTube, and we've got, I see Miss Deb and RJ popping on, and my daughter's popping on tonight, Maddie's
Sweet.
Morphs. I know, she's so cute. Okay.
How you doing, Maddie?
I'm partial. It's funny though, when she was a little girl, we lived, my mom's home, my first shadow person I saw in my mother's home.
Hmm.
So that poor little girl's been experienced. But an actual shadow entity is incredibly horrifying.
Well, we're going to get into that because I think we have differing opinions.
Yeah.
Shadow people. And that's not bad because it causes conversation and discussion. And hopefully
Yes,
it'll
it
cause
does.
discussion within the chat room or the
Absolutely.
comments, wherever they may be.
Yes.
But do you want to get us started with the Cliff's Notes version of exactly what is a shadow person? Miss April?
Yes, please play the Vanna White music. Dun, 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 dun.
I
Okay.
don't know what the music is.
Your shadow people are. Hey, you poured it into a bigger cup. Look at that.
It's in a Michigan glass.
It's a Michigan
It
glass.
is.
Yes. And you're going to Michigan.
I will be, and I'm excited about it.
Are you?
Yeah,
Your face
I
didn't
really
look.
am. No, I am, because I realized something today, and I was texting a friend of mine, and in the text I said, "This isn't my moment. This is Murray's moment, and he won't let me fail."
Well, that is very true.
Yeah.
So, you have to know Murray's always with you. I mean, you know that, but he pops up with Deb and I all the time. So you literally can't escape Murray's messages. So he is going to be with you. You're going to be fine. What event is it?
Michigan Paracon in Sault Ste. Marie. At
St.
the
Marie.
Kiwadon Casino.
Oh,
And
you're so lucky to go to a casino.
we are going to have a great time.
Yeah.
I have a date already for Thursday night. Dustin Perry has promised me a beer. So, I'm going to hang out with Dustin and catch up with him. It's been forever since I've seen Dustin.
Yeah. Tell him I said hi.
I will. And it's been forever since I've seen a lot of people like Deb and RJ and Tim Rian and John and Jackie Cassidy. All those people are going to be there. And I can't wait to hug them all. So,
well, you hug them, do double hugs, one for you, one for me. All right. Darren says, I have a hard time seeing shadow people. And that's going to be something we're going to be talking about. Shadow people. So there are theories, there is scientific research and evidence, and then there are personal experiences. Sometimes they are all the same and all the above. Other times, all of them can be incredibly different. I've had my own personal experiences, and then I looked it up so I would sound really smart. So what I did like is there are some, what do you call that? Clumps of information that seem to be the same. They're generally male in appearance. Most of us see them out of the peripheral vision, like a flight attendant. So literally we're watching TV and you see something down the stairs, or that is how I saw mine. And when I turned, it didn't walk like an actual human. It just kind of walked off the banister and disappeared. They are, interestingly enough, aware of us, especially when we're aware of them. Hats are not uncommon. Seems to have depth. Now, I'm going to say two of these. I've seen them flat. I've seen them with depth. They also seem to be nonverbal, can have demonic shape and glowing eyes. Not all of them do, but this kind of falls into some of the personal experiences. And the motives, why are they there? They're not so clear because of such the large classification, and their source is unknown. You know, if you don't know something's source or intention, it's going to be very hard to know what's your motive. What are you there for? So this is something I've I kind of thought this is interesting because it's like a collective. Some people have also said that they're linked to omens like the banshee or the hellhound. So I thought that was interesting. But that's pretty much where I stopped. I did find 4 kind of shadow peeps, but I know you want to go into that part.
Well, first I want to cover the perception, the public perception of shadow people, and it's not much different from what you described early on, where the perception is they're evil.
Yeah.
Movies and TV want you to believe that everything's evil because evil sells better than good. I mean, you're going to go see The Conjuring before you're going to go see Casper the Friendly Ghost.
True.
This is a given.
It is. Yes, I will.
But the thing I want to bring up, I've had experiences with shadow people that have been very positive.
Mm-hmm.
So my question, and this is where I think we differ, but we can have this conversation and it'll make for a good show, I think. What if we don't know?
I'm right there with you.
What if these shadow people, these shadow entities, in some instances, that's the only way they can manifest? What if in their spirit world or their I don't know how to say it and sound intelligent. What if a spirit is a new spirit and has not discovered how to manifest? And this shadow entity is all that they're capable of that at that point. It's just something to think about. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. There's probably been more cases or more documentation of shadow people being negative and quote unquote evil than there has, good and helpful. But I just wanted to throw that out there because a lot of times, people see TV, movies, and I'll get calls from clients, and that's their only interaction with the spirit world is these TV shows and movies. So they automatically think this shadow person is evil.
Right.
And I don't know if you've experienced this, April, but a lot of people, when they start having activity in their home, all of a sudden they're not able to be rational about anything.
No, and they go right to demonic.
Yeah, and anything that happens in the home, whether it's paranormal or not, it's now labeled as paranormal because one thing happened that was paranormal. Right. And that's where I'm getting at the car driving by and you got a shadow going across the wall, and it's very obvious. But if you're going through these things, and you touched on it earlier, the effect it has on the human mind when you're experiencing these things, I don't think that people talk about that enough. And the anxiety and the pressure that they deal with, not to mention, probably half the people in their life telling them that they're crazy.
That whether it's a paranormal experience or you're venturing out and following your dream job, anytime you do something out of the norm, most people are going to think you're crazy. But the truth is, when you are experiencing a legitimate, and I say legitimate because there are a lot of cases I've worked where the person or the people or the business thought it was paranormal when in fact it was not. And that's okay. I'd rather people contact for help than try to handle things themselves. And normally they handle the stuff themselves that really is paranormal, and then they get themselves in a jam. But what happens when you're working a job and you've got a family and you're dealing with something paranormal at home, especially shadow people, these are things most people don't talk about because they know how they're going to be received. You're crazy. And the problem is a lot of that energy is energy. So it's going to affect you on a vibrational, energetic level. Whether you're sleeping, it's going to create stress, no different than a coworker at work that you have to deal with every day. So, stress is it's the number one killer right now. And I'm not saying shadow people are like the spiritual mob, but when individuals are dealing with, or they believe they're dealing with, an actual paranormal situation, it's important that people reach out for help, and they reach out to people and groups who are reputable that are able to provide that support. I also find a lot of individuals will go in to help them, and they don't know what they're doing, and they make the situation worse for everybody involved. So I always like to touch on, the feels. I love the warm and fuzzies. So
exactly. And I'm not disagreeing with you on anything that you're saying. The only thing I want to bring to the table here is, why does it have to be black and white? Why does it have to be either or? Why can't there be gray? Why can't there be a gray area? And I think that if we really were pressed, the people that are truthful with themselves in this field, if you're really pressed on, what are you sure of in this field? There's very little.
I agree. I mean, now it's really like the minute you're a psychic medium and you come out of the closet, you join a paranormal team. But I'm actually agreeing with you. In fact, people who have investigated with me and have worked cases know that I want to push the envelope. I think that we need to evolve as researchers and investigators because we are no closer to the truth than we were 40 or 50 years ago. I have some of my own theories from my own personal experiences. I do believe that shadow people aren't always malignant, malicious. Just like spirits, some could be Uncle Andy and then some could be Uncle Andy the murderer. Either way, it's not, paranormal experiences are not a one-stop shop. So
there's a question from Hope in the chat room, and I want to address that before I lose sight of it.
yes.
I had a conversation with somebody that I respect a great deal, John Kachuba from Ohio, great paranormal author, great paranormal investigator, great person. One of the first people I actually met when I got into the paranormal field and sat with me for hours at an event and answered questions. And I'll never be able to repay him for that. And I'll never forget that. And I hopefully one day will be that person that answers questions in return and gives back. But he talked to me about seeing into the full spectrum. And there's a sliver of the human eye that sees into the full spectrum. And that his theory was that's why we see things out of our peripheral. And when we look straight on, it's no longer there. To answer Hope's question, that's the best answer I have. And I can't take credit for it because, well, John was the one that told me. I'm not a scientist and I've never followed up on this, but it makes a lot of sense to me. With so many times of seeing something out of the corner of our eye and then it's gone when we look at it straight on. So that's one thing to think about and kind of, just do your own research and find out what works for you. But I'm interested to hear your experience, April, with shadow people.
You're so good with turning over the microphone. We would be great journalists together. Everything that I do, I'm often thrown into the bucket as part of the equipment. So I show up kind of like, I read the energy, and I don't need batteries. Anyway, I find that there are lots of reasons to me vibrationally that there will be shadow people. How can I go into this? So the peripheral vision. When we are focused on something, when you're looking forward, your mind is focused on where you're looking. It's going to be a lot easier to bring in stuff that you are not focused on when you're actually really relaxed. You're going to be able to pick up stuff. It's going to, it's very interesting because it's often, you're in the kitchen, you're about to grab your keys and go, and then it's like going right down the hallway. So when we saw it at my mom's house over and over and over, it would show up on the stairs, which was just to the right of where the TV was. So the whole family would be watching the TV, and then there would be like, the lots of activity on the stairs. But the energy of shadow people to me is no different, or researching it is no different than researching, any type of haunting. The problem with shadow people is most of the time, it is a personal experience. There is great footage caught where you can look down, and I'm not going to say all footage online is accurate. Please, you all, most of you in the paranormal field know at this point, you can doctor up anything. But I have personally have seen shadows move with my naked eye where it wasn't a car. It was a humanoid shape. Ironically, the one that I saw at my mother's house, this is where people go, she is crazy. It moved very choppy. It literally moved like a robot right to the banister. It was see-through. It was 3D, but there was a darkness to it. I would have thought it was a shadow and somebody was walking. It freaked me out. Ironically, it looked like my great-grandfather. but it wasn't. So, uh, my theory is there is alien life forms. I mean, hell, we're alien life forms to some creatures and entities. Um, my ex-husband was an alien life. I'm kidding. But so when you think about this, when I did some research with Carissa Fleck, we did some EVPs, and some of the stuff that we were getting live was incredibly creepy. It was very intelligent, and I said to her, I don't know why this has demonic energy, but at the same time, it has alien energy. You know, there's positive people, positive spirits, negative spirits. Who's to say that a lot of the EVPs or shadow people we're catching aren't positive and or negative alien life forms? And that's why when you said it could be, you know, the gray, it's not the grays, but the gray matter in between is so important, especially as an investigator. Being open-minded is how we evolve. You know, when we just say everything is exactly how, I was going to spill a name and that would have been very bad form, Peter. But when we say just because so-and-so does it this way, this is how it needs to be, we limit ourselves. I do want, before I pass the mic back to you, I do want to mention, if any of you are ever having issues, please contact a professional. Extreme caution is warranted, especially when there are experiences you can't understand. There are people out there that have the professional experience and longevity to assist you. And it is really important, because if we don't reach out for help, sometimes those situations, like we talked about earlier, can and will break you down. I've seen people lose their jobs. I've seen people have to be medicated simply because they didn't reach out for help, which is interesting. I've seen families torn apart because of energy. Now, clearly, positive energy isn't going to be malicious. However, if you hear a bump in the night, our first human reaction is fight or flight. You know, we become scared with anything that we don't know. So, you know that I can talk, and I don't want to go into channeling. I'm sure Heidi and Hope are going to laugh at that. But I like this gray matter area. I think it is the bridge to where we're headed as investigators.
You mentioned grays and aliens, and since Deb and RJ are in the chat room here,
Yes.
They're holding a UFO contact event in Houghton Lake, Michigan, September 25th. Go check it out. Yeah, great friends of mine do a lot of work with me with Potographs for Pooches, so it's only fair that I mention their event coming up. Head over to Houghton Lake. If Deb wants to put that website in the chat room, I have no issue with that. I want to share a story.
Okay.
I want to share a story from an investigation that we did quite a few years ago already. I tried to rack my brain today and think of a few examples of shadow people, the most important ones. And we've done nearly 300 investigations, residential investigations, in 13 and a half years. We did a case in a small town about 20 minutes from home where the main claim was that something was coming out of the bedroom's bathroom in the middle of the night and pushing down on the husband's chest. Mm-hmm. And it was terrifying him to the point where, honestly, he was having trouble functioning. Mm-hmm. When we showed up at the house, you could tell that he was terrified, just in his mannerisms, the way he talked with us. We brought Scotty Rorick in for that first investigation because just talking to this man leading up to it and interviewing him, I knew we didn't have time to mess around with, okay, let's find something and then maybe bring Scotty in to validate. And mm-hmm. that's what we used to do. We brought Scotty with us that first night. And during one of the rotations, we experienced this shadow person. And it was odd because Scotty kept telling me, I think this is his father. It doesn't make any sense, though. I think this is his father, and he's trying to make amends. And After about an hour, Scotty was convinced that this spirit was coming out of the bathroom at night to give his son a hug.
Oh,
We sat down, and I'll be the first one to admit I was not on board with this explanation because it didn't make any sense to me at the time. We sat down with the client, and Scotty and I and the client and the team talked and found out that his father had recently passed, and it was a kind of a frosty relationship. And once we brought up the fact that it could be his father, this grown man burst into tears.
yeah.
And just so much emotion came out of him because he was so terrified. And that terror turned into hope. Because, what if it is my dad?
Right.
This isn't a bad thing then. And actually, by the end of that investigation, this man who was absolutely terrified when we showed up was taking selfies with the team at the end of it. And was very, very happy with what we did. And I'll hear from him from time to time, usually every year or so. He'll pop in, give me an email, and tell me how he's doing. And he's doing great. So that's one of the things with our team is having done 300 residential investigations, it's impossible for me to keep up with everybody.
Right.
So I tell them, if you want me to follow up, get a hold of me, and I'll talk to you whenever you want to. I just don't have enough time in the day to catch up with 300 people.
Right.
But this that one stuck out because it was special.
Mm-hmm.
And when we left that night, I really felt like we did something good. And that's why I say it's a gray area for me, because this was a full-blown shadow figure.
Right. But you're right. I mean, we still don't know what an actual ghost is. As a medium, yeah, we can go into the energy, which you brought up a very good point. Why should a reputable psychic medium be on a team? Because it's an added tool that, a lot of people don't have. And I say reputable because, trust me, so many people out there are psychic mediums. However, if Scotty missed that, if you guys didn't bring him, you would still be treating that as a possible haunting. So my grandmother was one of those people that showed up on the stairs as a shadow person. My grandmother had osteoporosis, which is a bone disorder, and your body doesn't produce or have enough calcium, your bones. So her back had a hump in it. And on the stairs, actually during the investigation, one of the people caught the shadow, one of the shadow energies, and was describing it to me. And all you could feel was positivity. It wasn't malicious. I saw the same figure in my mother's bedroom. Now that house had a lot of activity, kind of like a portal. That's what it reminded me of. But back then I had no clue what the heck was going on. And this is why I say reaching out is important, because we may not always know what it is, but we know how to work a case. We know how to work a case. And one of the first priorities of any research team or paranormal team is to bring education and support to the family, person, individual, business. That's our job. We need to make sure that what is there is not an imminent threat. If something really is there, debunking it. And then providing education and support. I mean, being what I am, I have spirits around me all the time. All the time. I just now have figured out how to put spiritual boundaries up so they don't always bother me. But most average people who have abilities and this is another thing, may not realize they're open and perceiving the spirit world just like I would.
I think our greatest obligation to clients that we have as members of the paranormal field is to exhaust all options.
Yeah.
In the pursuit of solving this for them. And I would hope that a lot of people could agree with that.
Yeah.
If not, you shouldn't be doing residential cases. We're not always going to be right. I can point to a bunch of times where we didn't get it right, and it eats at me to this day.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, we always do our best. And cases like the one I talked about, and I got a few others we can talk about too, as as we get going. But shadow people, negative, evil, maybe misunderstood, maybe.
But isn't that what investigating is? It is like a case by case basis, and it is process of elimination.
Yeah, I always say that each case is like a puzzle.
It's
a unique puzzle, and you got to put that puzzle together.
Yep.
And when I bring in a medium to help us, at that point, it's about bringing them in to kind of put that puzzle together completely. It's it's a 500 piece puzzle, and we've found 497 of those pieces, and we need somebody to come in and fill in those gaps, and that's worked well for us. I got a message from Dana Stricker earlier, and you were talking about tools. Dana is one of my favorite tools. She's great. She's a lot of fun to be around, and she's helped us on some cases and dropped everything.
My Miley part of my brain kicked in there for a moment. So really, honestly, that's all psychic mediumship is. It is an additional tool. I think people glorify it, and they make shows out of it, and really, if we're not using it to help people and help ourselves, why have it? Hope had a great question. Are there any theories or information about shadow people varying in color from gray to black and all the shades in between? Lots of theories, and that literally is what we're discussing tonight. And what I think is fascinating is when you get right down to it, all you really can talk about are your personal experiences. We could talk about research and what we read, but when you're working 300 cases, you have a lot of experience to pull from. So I want to talk about, although I agree, I don't feel we could clump shadow people into one definition.
I don't think so either. I think it's just a part of the paranormal field.
Dana.
And I actually sent her a private message and said, I just called you a tool.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree with you. I think we generalize things too much.
Yeah.
And things always have to fit into this one compartment or this one box, and we don't leave any room for, well, what if? And to answer Hope's question that she had, I can only go off of my experience, and every shadow person I have seen has been dark black, one giant black mass that we encountered in Fond du Lac, which was a terrifying night for me because it was early on in my paranormal career. We were dealing with the spirit of a man that had killed his girlfriend and then committed suicide.
Oh.
And it was early on, and I was provoking. And I almost paid for it.
So could you really quickly, go back? I know you're like, don't rub my face in it. Could you go back? I love doing this. No, could you just go back? Let's use this as a teachable moment. What is provoking?
Provoking is when you do or say things to try to get a reaction from a spirit, and it's negative, or it's think of it as talking to a person in real life, and you're trying to get a reaction out of them, and basically you're just being a big bully.
And they're stonewalling you. They're not responding.
But in that moment, I was trying to be this big tough man and basically saying, who kills their girlfriend and then takes their own life, and all of a sudden, this giant black mass.
She's great.
I love Dana.
She's great.
This giant black mass just appeared, and I was sitting shoulder to shoulder with Todd, and Todd didn't see a thing.
Interesting.
And it was definitely directed at me, and it had mass to it. That's the only way I can say it. It wasn't a normal shadow person. It definitely had mass to it. And the only way you can describe it is darker than the dark, like blacker than black. And it was intimidating. It really was. And that was the first time. And I think in my paranormal career, if we want to call it that, I've provoked twice. And the second time was the Chris case. And I thought that was justified because I was telling that man what Chris should have been able to say to him. And I'll talk about that case coming up too if we have time for it, but because there was a shadow person in that one. But yeah, it was very early on in our paranormal journey, and Todd and I talk about it to this day. You know how he couldn't see it, and I did, and I definitely felt like it was targeting me, and I understood why.
Well, you know, if you're bothering something that doesn't want to be bothered, whether it's positive or negative, a dog will snap at you. So provoking something that you don't know about is not smart. As you have explained, I want to bring up two things. Children, well, three things: children, sleep paralysis, and negative energy. So first, negative energy, because it piggybacks off what you said. You will know the difference between a positive energy and a negative energy, especially if you're a clairsentient, if you will feel energy. The one that you are talking about was very deliberate. You saw it, Todd did not. To me, that is intelligent. It wanted to get a point across. Ironically, I've noticed more darker energy, negative energy. I don't want to say dark because we're talking about shadows, but negative energy, lower vibrational energy. I have witnessed, or I have a observation. It shows up as a mass. I've seen them with my naked eyes. I've seen them move. And I say that because if you put so many people together, you become one very large mass. I have worked cases that were very dark in nature, lower vibrational, and it was multiple entities coming together as one. So I just think that's interesting. If there's ever anything bigger than you are, or threatening, or intimidating, again, step back and call for help. And I say that because on this show, we are going to talk about mental health a lot. But I also want to say something with a very heavy disclaimer. This is my personal opinion, my personal professional experience. I have seen situations where mental health has affected the activity. I have seen the activity cause mental health issues, both at the same time and individually separately, meaning the individual was healthy and fine until it was an ongoing situation over and over. Like I said, something that is malicious, and I also want to say a disclaimer, 90% of the activity out there is not malicious. It is just not. As scary as it could be, I've heard growling, and it literally was someone's uncle. So we've got to be careful. But darker energy, once you experience it, you will be able to identify it again and again and again. It just has a signature imprint unlike any other. Provoking automatically will open the door to lower vibrational energy, which is why I'm not a huge fan of one of the most famous paranormal shows, because the individual does nothing but provoke. So, and that upsets me because people watching the show are also exposed to open things. Do you want to say anything about that before I jump into kids? Because there was a comment that I thought was important.
I don't know that I have much to add to that. I agree with everything you said there. So there's not much for me to add or piggyback onto. I'll let you continue and talk about kids. And I think you're probably the person to answer my mom's question about animals and shadows too. So if you just want to hit both of those, that'd be great. And yes, Deb, that was a huge bear. And
I need to put my eyeballs back on.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I have a glow to me because I'm wearing a sweatshirt and it's like 75 degrees in here, and that was a poor idea. It's a poor choice.
Oh.
But yeah, I want to hear your opinion on children and then also animals.
Okay, so kids. Most children are tapped in, tuned in, turned on. They do not reject their natural abilities until they're taught to do so. And this means because they're not adults, they don't have the coping skills or the verbiage to handle their experiences. A lot of children suffer through some of these experiences. And Heather actually shared earlier about her daughter. And I'm so grateful that she is much older and fine. But here's a little girl that reached out for help. And the help literally said she was crazy and they put her in a psych ward. I'm not going to say, Heather, that there were not other concerns where they wanted to keep her safe. You know, again, I'm not a doctor or a lawyer, but my daughter was one of those kids. We didn't get to the psych ward part, but there were a lot of things. She was 6 and 7, and there were a lot of things that were happening specifically to her where at first I was concerned. But then other family members started experiencing it. So when your children bring something to your attention, please don't cast it to BS. Sometimes it is BS, but they are acting out because of other things. So this is why I wanted to talk about kids, because I don't think that they're protected enough. And I also don't think that a lot of parents understand, if your kid's psychic, intuitive, and open, and you have no idea how to handle that, a child that is a prodigy, is that the word? Soccer player or musician, the parent's going to get them training and encourage that. But to the child that's a natural psychic medium, or they see the spirit world so clearly, parents, shove it off. And then, they're experiencing this in the dark, sometimes not the dark at all. And you want to talk about stress and debilitating. You'll notice their grades go down. You'll notice the personality changes. That's why I'm like, parents, please, your babies need you. More importantly, your job is to bring the tools to them that they need to thrive, right? So I needed to bring kids up because they are some of our best intuitives. So, all right, Heather, I love you.
Before we move into animals or we expound on children, I did want to mention we have dealt with so many husbands that didn't believe their wives.
Oh wow, yeah.
And sat and did the deep sigh while we were talking to the family. Clearly annoyed that we were there. We've dealt with parents that didn't believe their children. And then on the flip side of that, we've seen some beautiful families where they're all in it together and they're all terrified, but they're united. I've dealt with a lot of parents that have recognized, hey, my child can see and hear these things, and how do we help them? We don't always have to help them.
Yeah.
We don't need to classify it as a bad thing. I mean, I understand for parents it can be a shock. It really can.
Oh, yeah.
But just trust your child, believe in your child.
You don't want your kid talking at the Christmas dinner table.
Yeah. We won't talk about that, Billy.
Well, I mean, it's very difficult because the world needs to understand that society and the world does not embrace spiritual stuff openly and effortlessly. Heather, you're welcome, honey.
One of the reasons I brought it up is because sometimes when we come into the home, we're the first people that have actually listened to them.
Yeah.
And you can see the weight of the world lift off of them because somebody's finally listening.
Well, that's one of the most basic human needs. And that's not paranormal. We are individuals that at our core need to be seen and heard. Unless you're a hermit. But most hermits, we don't know about them. But the average individual, we could push love away all we want, but because we're uncomfortable to it, whatever, but we still doesn't mean that we don't need to be seen and heard. So yeah, when you show up and you're an empath, so you and your team are going to show up very differently than a lot of teams that blow in to a situation without considering the needs and the feelings of the people that brought them in. That's important.
One of the things that we look for in new team members. And I've said this so many times. I don't care. I don't care what you know about the paranormal. I really don't.
Yeah.
I care that you're a good person, that you care about people. You know, I can't teach you compassion. So if we can find somebody that's compassionate and cares about other people, then we've won, because we can teach you all that other stuff.
Right.
I do need to kind of veer off topic here. I want to thank Tony again for this wonderful camera that he's letting me use. He just sent me a message. It's very, very well known that I'm not a fan of children. That's just me. But I will say this, and he just sent me a picture of his daughter Skylar watching the show.
Oh, hi, Skylar.
And said that she's hooked on the show. Skylar is one of the few children in my life that I absolutely adore. So be good for your mom and dad, and thank you for listening. And maybe I'll see you Saturday or Sunday night.
I love that. I love the name Skylar. I think that was Vince Neil's daughter's name that passed away.
You're talking music, and you lost me.
Okay. Remember the wrestler Vince Neil? No, then I got your attention. Vince Neil in tights? No. All righty. There's my girl. God, I'm proud of her. You know, when your babies grow up and then they're 19, it's like, what? Get back in my uterus. No, but she's really smart.
I don't think she fit anymore, April.
She wouldn't, but I would try. No. She was the most safe. No, she is very tapped in, tuned in, turned on, and doesn't always run out in investigating, because she is so sensitive. And, you know, when you walk into someone's or something's energy, it is so overwhelming. It really is. Hello, Lisa. I'm wonderful.
I'm better than average, so we'll take it.
Amen.
Yeah,
all
thank
right.
you for coming in and watching the show. Anybody that's in right now in Facebook or YouTube, if you could go in, subscribe to YouTube, subscribe to the page, to the show. Go like the page on Facebook, Escape Reality Podcast. It would really mean a lot to us. Help us out. Help us reach a lot of other people. That's the only plug I have. Can I get a Murray moment in here?
Of course, you definitely can.
And then we'll go into you talking about animals and can they see shadow people?
Yes. Hold on before the Murray moment. The only reason we're pushing for the subscriptions, guys, is because there are a lot of behind the scenes algorithms and we can't get support we need without those likes, shares, and subscribes. So please like us, subscribe, share. And now on to our Murray moment.
Murray moment of the week is again all about Murray. And it should be. I got contacted earlier this week by Michelle Harold, a very good friend of mine within the paranormal field, lives in Kentucky. Her cat had a litter of kittens, and unfortunately they lost one.
Oh.
And Michelle asked Murray to come and get this cat and take care of this kitten. And she sent me a message that Murray came to her and he showed her that he was with the kitten, and he also was with my old cat, Bip. So Murray and Bip went to take care of this kitten.
Oh.
And I'm hearing more and more stories like this. And my little dude is amazing.
He is amazing. You know, he's not in body, although that's all how he shows up to me. He's cute because he's a little white. But he what people don't know, who's Murray. This is Potographs for Pooches, #Murray's Legacy. If you saw on our cover picture on the Facebook group, on the bottom right-hand corner, there's Murray. So this is a great segue into animals and spirit. He's not in body and he's not sick or slow and older. He's unlimited, and he makes sure we know that every day. So, and he is actually really great to talk about animal spirits. So shadow people can't stop at just people. My first spirit I ever saw was a dog. And it floated. I was in 3rd grade. And back then in Miami, my goodness, Miami, it's very hot in South Florida. And I was, our home we had 3 bedrooms, but only one room had air conditioning. And so once in a while we would all go into the one room. My mom, would lay out pillows and everything for the family. And it was not a big family, it was just us. But I needed to get some water. And my dad was a mailman, so he got up really early for work. And so my mom was up, I got up, and my dad got up. And we walked into the hallway. And as we walked into the hallway, my mom stepped against the wall. My dad stepped against the wall. And I'm standing there like, what's going on? And this fascinating figure just kind of floated past down the hallway and then into my room. And I remember in 3rd grade knowing it floated, it didn't have legs, it was a male dog. And there was nothing malicious about that at all. Animals love us. Animals, just like people, are also sometimes emotionally attached to a location. Animals, when they transition, can come and go. Animal spirits are sometimes more diligent with following us than our own family members. Animal spirits are easier to communicate with than your own family members. Yeah, it was Vince Neil, Motley Crue. And then Hope, I see a little dog sitting in my foyer almost every morning. She's sweet. I acknowledge her and she wags her tail. Sometimes I don't know if certain animals know that they've transitioned. I have seen some amazing evidence of animals caught on camera. I've never ever, other than Cujo, but that's not a real paranormal case. But I've never really seen any malicious animals. The one time I did, it was a dog entity, and it was never really a dog. So I don't, that was the only low vibrational experience. It was easier for the family to think it was a dog, and it was not. So for your mom, my Julie, animals are, all right. Last year, Spirit said to me, every day the veil is thinning. This means people who are able to see are going to see more than they ever have before. And I have people contacting me all the time. I'm seeing shadows. And I want to say, they've always been there. The walls are just being removed. So more and more and more people are going to be experiencing certain things because they're more open. And that spirit world has always been here. Always been here. Could you have an animal as a spirit? Oh my God, I love this question. I
hope so.
Well, mine's a blue jay. Middle school, Murray. Middle school is a tough transition for kids. It just really is. And the older we are, and the more insensitive this world becomes, the harder it is. And my daughter was going to middle school. She came up to me. She says, "Mom, can you have an animal for a guide?" And I'm like, "Hello, welcome to my work." And she says, "Because I have a Black Panther that calls himself AJ. And let me tell you, that Black Panther showed up and walked her through the halls of middle school every day for 3 years. And there was a lot going on, and she needed a lot of support. So yes, animals can be a spirit guide. I call it animal medicine, animal guides, but they are just as prevalent and as important as our regular guides. I've seen animals interact with people to get messages through to their family, their humans, their people, like the game Telephone. It's kind of fascinating. Murray does it all the time.
I'm over here working on my resting asshole face.
No, you're getting better at it. Thank you, Tina.
Because I kind of catch myself once in a while, and I look at and I'm like, wow, I really got to be careful because I look mad or bored, and I'm neither.
Just smile.
Yeah.
You get some Botox here.
No.
Isn't that made with botulism or something like this?
I have no idea. I've never looked into it.
Okay. So Deb,
I usually had a full face, so I haven't had to worry about those things.
Deb, how is it DeRoos? I'm always going to.
It is DeRoos.
Okay, thank God.
The other word is pronounced Johnson.
Okay, that's I was almost that one I almost chopped up, but no. Um, I was blessed to work a room with Deb at Pottergrass for Pooches last year, and I think her and I had so much fun. I didn't want to stop. We were bouncing off each other. So yeah, Deb says I believe we all have power animals, animal spirit guides. Deb is an amazing intuitive, and one of the most empathic individuals I know. Um, let's see, maybe because I have always had and loved animals. Yeah, some animal people are just animal people. I think
Deb,
that's
Deb is another one of those tools.
Deb is a tool.
Yeah.
Yes. And RJ's a cute tool.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Deb's a
tools.
cute tool too. But I'm just saying.
So many tools in the chat room here.
There are. It's like we're like a toolbox.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved working with you. Can't wait to do it again. Yeah. I say we get matching outfits, Deb. All right. Mr. Tim.
Yeah. That's me.
Let's ironically, so I think I'm premenopausal and I pulled a card to fan myself. Speaking of animal guides, it's the moth message, the moth spirit animal, which is simply surrender now, let go. Let go. All right. Oh, yeah, RJ is cute. And yes, we're going to wear matching outfits. But I'm going to save. I'm going
to talk into the tin hat.
No, I was just going to say my foil hat. Some of you who have been following me for years know I wore one. There's a picture. And I'm telling you, when we do a UFO episode, we need to bring Deb and RJ on. I'm wearing that flippin' foil hat. And I'm going to get you into one.
I don't like your chances at that.
Well, maybe we start a poll. Maybe we get people involved in this. But we are going to get people involved in the Bachelor episode.
Good luck with that.
That's happened. It is happening. And those who are watching, we're on this. I'm going to choose 3 bachelorettes, and they can be anywhere in the states. See, Dana says yes. Foil hat, yes. Just mail him a foil hat. See, everyone wants you in a foil hat, Tim.
Here's the thing, though. What if before this Bachelorette episode, what if I stumble upon my own?
Well, then we don't have it.
Okay.
Like, I'm not planning on doing it, like in August, maybe even September. It could be like an October thing, because that's going to be a big month. Cartwheel tutu videos. I have pug leggings. We do have that.
Amber is obsessed with cartwheels.
Does she do them?
No, I think she has mentioned it before in other things I've done where, like, if we raise so much money, I have to do cartwheels. I am a 260-pound man, roughly 6'4", and will never do a cartwheel.
I used to do them, but now
things will break.
Gravity's strong.
Yeah, mostly my bones. That's what I'm worried about breaking at this point. Yeah.
Agreed. Hi, is it Deanna? Yes. What were we going to say? We were talking about a lot of stuff. Foil hats. So I do think it's appropriate. I think it will mix and scramble the lasers or the download when we're on air. It'll protect us.
Or scramble our eggs.
Right. So we have to protect our noggins. Yeah. And when we go live, we're going to be uncovering truths about UFOs and alien life forms. So it's important that we protect ourselves. We should make every watcher wear a foil hat too. We should call it the foil hat episode.
We have a question from Anthony.
Yes. Hello, Anthony. April, have you ever heard of the Phoenix Lights? No, I've heard of the Marfa Lights. What are Phoenix Lights?
Is he talking about the Phoenix Lights where there was a formation of 7 of them in the sky and nobody could figure out what it was? I think that's pretty famous on YouTube.
Is it the I know that they just posted something where the government, CNN posted it, like they actually had look, we've had evidence for eons. When I'm channeling, and one of the energies that shows up is an unidentified life form, and it's positive and of love and light, I ain't gonna block it. So The UFO event. Oh, it's a Phoenix Lights event? No, I have not heard about it. Could you enlighten us? Oh, I've had a long day. So Anthony is going to get back to us because I'd love to know. I love these events, mostly because I get to see people like you, and I get to really learn about a lot of different aspects of the paranormal. There is a great documentary that just came out about it. I'll shoot Tim a link to send to you, please. I do know that Brax and I will watch a ton of documentaries. Some of the stuff I'm like, eh. Other stuff I find it fascinating. What is that one thing? And Deb may know the Blue Book. Years ago, I bought a copy of it. It was, I think, military.
Yeah, you're on the right track there. I actually watched that with Tony, who's asking.
Fascinating. Fascinating.
Project Blue Book.
Project Blue Book. I have a copy of something somewhere.
It was actually very, very interesting. So it's worth a watch.
It is. Alien energy fascinates me. And I have to be careful about it because of the law of attraction. I don't want to be sleeping and have, someone show up and be like, hello. I will beat the shit out of myself. But all right, yes, Project Blue Book. Anthony, please send him that link. Another movie I'd love for you to watch, and it's based on a true story. And you're not going to like it. I don't think you do scary movies, right?
I'm not entertained by them. I don't get
this scared. One's good. There's sex in it.
There's sex in it?
And there's no nudity, so you may not like it.
Well, then that's no good.
Well, it's called Aftermath.
No, I'm really weird when it comes to movies. If I'm going to spend 2 hours watching a movie, I want to laugh.
Typically. Yeah.
So
that's good.
I'll make a point to watch certain things, but yeah, horror movies really don't do it for me. Especially the ones I've been in.
I guess once you're in a horror movie, that's it.
It doesn't make me an actor. It just means I know the right people. Scott makes movies, so I'm cheap labor.
Mr. Tepperman. Yes.
I do like rom-com. Christina
like
Marie Nelson.
What?
She says, remember, he likes rom-coms.
Yes.
Somebody's been paying attention. That's good.
Yeah, she is good.
Yeah.
Rom-coms are great for the paranormal and the horror movie enthusiasts. I'm not a cut 'em up, see 'em bleed kind of girl. I like the suspense thriller kind of things. Aftermath, Netflix. It's a couple that's struggling, and I'm going to leave it there. They move into a house and based on a true story, and he's yawning. Anywho, I watched it by myself. Braxton fell asleep, and I was like, Fire in the Sky, one of my most favorite. They have redone it. It is fascinating. The documentaries, and really the humbleness of the people affected by it is really powerful. Aftermath, Christina, Aftermath. Travis Walton. It's worth watching or reading the book. Absolutely. Deb, have you ever been able to work with him at any of your events? Have you had him? I mean, I'd love to talk to people who actually got to talk to him. Why are you laughing?
Because Deb said the yawns are from the huge beer.
Well, okay. Tonight I'm not having beer. I'm having root beer with a little vodka.
Yeah, I tried telling people that it was just apple juice, but that's a lot of apple juice.
Apple juice doesn't froth. It doesn't froth like that.
Apple juice will also make you poop a lot, and so will beer.
So why do you always have to get rectal?
Why do you always have to get rectal?
That needs to be a t-shirt. We need sound effects. I'm serious. Yes, Deb said I've talked to him. I veered away from the shit. I've talked to him at events, but haven't had him at our event yet. I will. Yes, you will. Fascinating individual, and he's definitely not of ego. He is. I mean, really, you are abducted and you come back, I would have to say it's life-changing. Rectal. Good, Anthony. You could give him a hard time about that for me.
I'm getting yelled at by Dana because I told her it was apple juice, and she believed it. So good on you, Dana.
I'm not working tonight, so I'm going to indulge in an adult beverage. I don't ever drink anymore. And it was a lot to prepare for the Shadow People show.
I think it went well. I hope people were interested in it.
Did
It was nice to talk about the paranormal.
a lot.
Or an aspect of it, because that's kind of the wheelhouse.
We covered a lot.
It did.
See,
It's weird because I've spent so much time in the last 8 years doing stuff for Potographs or Pooches and telling my story. A lot of people forget that I kind of know what I'm talking about when it comes to the paranormal stuff.
well,
So it's nice to be able to do this and have people go, hey, wait a minute, he's not just a pretty face. I am pretty, Dana. I'm pretty.
pretty rectal. So
Pretty.
I'm telling you, I'm going to get busy on some sound effects. We were talking about hiring another DJ for the DJ booth because it is a lot of work, but I do love it. And I will get a fart sound just for you.
Oh boy.
In fact, I might just bing, 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 and then just be like, see, I do this every show.
Yeah.
It's him.
Hold
You
on.
see? Oh, we're like E.T. Phone home.
My finger's going into your screen.
The other way, my
Yeah.
ear. We can't drink together like this, evidently.
No.
It's like a brother and a sister.
Cool, though. I mean, good participation from the people that came in tonight.
Totally.
And a lot of fun. And we'll do a lot of these shows, with a topic coming up, and we'll have fun with them, and we'll try to give you some good information and give us your feedback. What do you want to hear about? What do you want us to blab about?
Come on. I mean, guys, you guys know I've had over 12 years of work, paranormal, psychic medium work. Tim has how many years now?
I'm going on 14 in January. So
Okay.
I'm quickly becoming that old man of the paranormal.
The creepy one.
Get off my lawn.
Creepy. The one that people tell children to stay away from.
They probably do, because I don't know. I think I'm a decent person, but I think I give kids really dirty looks most times.
That's like a bully.
No, it's to encourage them not to come near me, because I don't want to talk to them. That's how I am.
I want to do the Braxton's been to the Villisca Axe murder house. I like to remotely view it. I
want to get back out to Hinsdale House. That's I feel like I got unfinished business there.
We should plan an event and go live, like do a podcast.
We could, but the tickets would be astronomical, because the cost of getting both of us to Hinsdale House
the universe could totally handle it. I'll have my universe work with your universe.
Yeah.
Hello, Kathy. Dina says, what has really hit home with you? So I'm not sure. Dina says, yes, I would pay. So there's that. And
we've got one.
Kissing your face all
Tickets
night
are
long.
$999.
No, you would get. It would be great, though. It would be lit.
I've been there twice. The place is absolutely amazing. It really is. Yeah.
Carissa did a thing from there, and the owner is amazing. And sometimes there are places that I would go, but there are some places where I'm okay viewing them from afar because of how active they are.
We can't go higher than $98 with the price. That's the end of that's her
$98.99.
No, not even 99 cents, just $98.
Darn it.
Yeah.
You should come to my house. It's so stinking active and stuff flying around all the time. It sounds odd. I do love it. I think that's why so many of us are involved. There's so many when we pass away, we become a part of a world that many of us, we don't know what's on the other side. So, uh, I love working with families and people and investigating. I'm just pushing buttons here. All right, for our viewers, thank you for watching us. Be crazy, and we're adulting on air. And I want to ask you to please share this episode. You can click on the link on YouTube. I also ask again that you subscribe to our channels, plural. When I pass away, I'm going to come hang out with all of you. Well, hopefully we rack in some good hours prior to that, okay? But we love doing this. Tim had a show for years. I had a show for years, and it's fun. It's fun to combine forces.
It's fun to look forward to something that you can do with one of your best friends.
Right. I agree.
It makes it a lot more fun when you got somebody to play off of, and you're not just speaking to a screen and nobody can see you. So
right.
Here I am. This is what I look like. I'm sorry.
You're
I'm not what I look
fine.
like. No.
Thank God women don't have facial hair.
Thank God.
Because could you see me with that on? It wouldn't ever work.
I don't think I can. I will tell you this: if you've ever seen me without facial hair, it's scary.
Well, without the lipstick, maybe you would look like me.
It's like I look like a fat little boy.
Okay, maybe you don't look like me.
No, my face goes from this to in an instant when I shave off the facial hair. But anyway, yeah, thanks to everybody that tuned in tonight and is helping us grow this show.
Yes.
And, like I said, share with the people you know. Put in a good word for us.
Thank you, Karen. Yes, thank you, guys. I love it.
I know sometimes it's really difficult to give an hour and 15 minutes to a show. But if you're able to come in and listen for 10 or 15 minutes and add your opinion and feel like you enjoyed those 10, 15 minutes, we'll take that. And then when you have more time, we'll take you and you can come back.
We love you guys. You know I love my light babies. All right, Tim, any closing stuff before we wrap?
The only thing I want to close with is it's okay
to not be okay. Always. Sometimes we suffer, again, depression. I think depression is more of the pandemic than COVID. Just saying. All right, guys. And many blessings. One of my daughter's family members passed away from COVID. So many blessings and prayers for families affected. Anybody that is dealing with a loss, especially right now, it's hard. It's hard. Guys, we are a species together, and we grow together. We mourn together. Nobody can get through any of the feels completely alone. We're not supposed to. Got home late. Deanna, I'm going to mess that up all the time. We will take you any way we can take you, my love. So I'm so glad you came home and jumped on. All right. We will see you guys next Tuesday. And we're going to have a theme for next Tuesday before next Monday. So we are super. We might even have a guest. You never know. Maybe it'll be my tinfoil hat episode.
I don't know if I'm ready for guests yet.
Really?
Yeah. I don't want to give up any of the, I don't want to give up my half of the spotlight.
That's good. That's great, actually. We have like a long list of people. Could I please be on your show? No.
Yeah. We don't want you. None
We're
of
having
you.
fun. It's our club. Stay out. All righty. I gotta go.
All right.
It's late.
You guys
My mom is calling me. I can't play anymore. All right, guys. You are amazing. I love you. We will see you next week. We don't have exit music yet, but it's coming. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Baby
all right.
shark, do 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 do. Baby shark.
My God, that's going to be in my head just as much as this is the song that never ends, and it goes on. Hey, we're moving almost the same way. We could do a whole dance together. We'll practice it through Zoom.
Please mercifully end this so I stop singing.
Goodbye.
Bye.